Okay, ji. Assalamu alaikum. We're back with Shandana Gulzar Khan, PTI member-elect, National Assembly of Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, Shandana. Thank you for joining us. Shandana, let's talk today about the 9th of May, the Black Day in Pakistan. Several tragedies took place that day. We had those several acts of vandalism that cannot really be excused. But then, more than that, we had the loss of life. We had 25 of our shaheed being killed by unarmed, killed by the law enforcement agencies, the live ammunition being fired on our unarmed protesters, and all of this as a result of the unlawful abduction of Chairman Imran, of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Of all the things that have happened over the past 1 year in Pakistan, which do you think would be the biggest tragedy so far?
Thank you so much, Saman. I think I'll start with your main question, that was 9th of May the Black Day for Pakistan. It's being peddled as such by certain interested quarters, but I'm afraid the truth is far from it. The 9th of May, and I'll get to this later, was the epitome of a false flag operation, which was already predicted by Khan Saab on the 25th of March, a week after the events of the 14th and 18th of March, whereby he was attacked in his home in Zaman Park. Then his wife was attacked. There was a murder attempt on him in the judicial complex in Islamabad. After those two events, Imran Khan, former Prime Minister, Chairman to PTI, he had a huge presser on the 25th of March, and he predicted a false flag operation whereby his party would be implicated in acts of vandalism and arson, which would be committed government by the illegal government, and at the same time, the blame would be pinned on PTI workers. That's exactly what happened. This is a very old script. It happened at the time of the partition of East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and so we're used to seeing this drama. But let's talk about the concept of a Black Day. We're a country who has had more than 5 heads of state and or prime ministers murdered in a short history of 75 years. We saw the murder of Quaid-e-Azam, Baba Qaum, the first Governor General of Pakistan. There was no ambulance for him. We saw the murder of Liaquat Ali Khan when he refused to turn back the clock on RCD, CETO, CENTO, 3 agreements with Iran and Turkey that would have changed the fate of Pakistan forever. They were thereafter revoked by General Ayub. Then we saw the murder, the execution of a sitting Prime Minister, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Then we saw of course, General Zia is a different story. General Zia was a collaborator, and he was finished off the way the usually Big Brother does all these countries involved in using puppet regimes, and our countries in developing countries, the way Gaddafi, they got rid of him, the way they got rid of the Iraqi president. So this was General Zia, who was just a long line of people like Saddam Hussein, who was used and then thrown away. Finally, we come to the murder or the shahadat of Benazir Bhutto. Benazir Bhutto's husband became the president a few months after her death. Not a single investigation has led to any conclusive evidence of who killed her. Everybody knows. So these are the Black Days of Pakistan, when your elected prime ministers are assassinated. 25th May was a Black Day for Pakistan. The partition of East and West Pakistan was a Black Day for Pakistan. These are the Black Days which no one dares talk about. Just read the Hamoud Rahman Commission report. It will tell you what's happened to this country. Black Day for Pakistan, when the day when Arshad Sharif went to the Foreign Office from this embarrassment of a foreign minister who sent a message from his office. I don't know whether he signed on it or not, but it went for the Foreign of Pakistan to Dubai, that Arshad Sharif should be exiled from UAE to any other country. And he was thereafter murdered in Kenya. Zille Shah, especially a special child, a differently abled human being, was murdered in police custody. And to top it off, Mariam Nawaz audio leak said that she wanted people to run him over his dead body, over his corpse. So it looks like he was not murdered during custody, but through through a PTI staged attack, and somehow they ran him over. Those are the Black Days for Pakistan. 9th May, 10th May is a Black Day for Pakistan. You abduct a former elected Prime Minister of Pakistan. He is in the court premises. They violated every principle there is in the Constitution. Everything that sanctifies the Constitution, that was destroyed. Armed paramilitary troops who are not answerable to the police barged into the premises of the Islamabad High Court and abducted a former Prime Minister. Black Day for Pakistan was the 10th of May, when a kangaroo court was set up inside a police station in H9, converted in a court to do a summary trial of Khan. Were it not for the spontaneous public protests, Khan would not be alive today and with us today. There are other sort of sort of assassination attempts on his life that we're hearing about, and you'll be very circumspect. You must note that I didn't say that 3rd November, the day Khan was attacked, was a black day. That was an attack on a person, but it was also attack on the heart of Pakistan. Yet you never saw any protester come out, burn anything. Why is that? That
Absolutely.
should have been the black day for Pakistan. So this is all a drama. 9th May is not a black day for Pakistan. 25th May last year, when Dr. Yasmin Rashid was attacked, when the daughter-in-law of Allama Iqbal, Justice Rashta, was harassed at her home. 9th, 10th May, Qasim Suri's wife was picked up. Usman Da's mother was harassed. Kamal Shawza was beaten up. Alia Hamza was arrested. Sanam Javed, Tayyiba Raja. The most embarrassing part of it all, the granddaughter of a former chief of army staff, Khatija Shah, was told to surrender, and she's been arrested under the anti-terrorism court laws for doing what? Yesterday, though, it put an end to the pack of lies that they've been peddling. Dr. Yasmin Rashid has been released, saying that she did not orchestrate the attack on Corps Commander House in Lahore. That begs the question, if it was such a black day, if people knew that on the 9th and 10th people would react, why for 7 hours this most sensitive installations in the military installations in Lahore left without guard, without police, without military protection? Who was giving those orders out? So that's why I'm going to just end my answer there on the 9th of May. And whether it was a black day or not, absolutely not. It was a false flag operation, and I'll give you details in our forthcoming discussion.
Absolutely. And that's where I would like to take our discussion, actually, the false flag attack. We are now gaining like there's a growing body of evidence, including, eyewitness testimonies that there was infiltration by certain unidentified men, at least 3 men who have not been identified. These people who were inciting the crowd, getting people to enter the Jinnah, the now Jinnah house, which was the Corps Commander house up until now. And on the contrary, the leadership, there's video evidence and eyewitness accounts of the leadership actually telling the people to pull back, to stay peaceful, to not enter any public or any private residences. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about the role of the illegal, the unlawful, the unconstitutional caretaker setup in Punjab right now.
Thank you, Saman. It's both illegal and immoral, both in KPK and in Punjab. Let's be very clear on one thing. Um, the maintenance of public order, the order under which people are being harassed, abused, picked up from their homes. Yesterday, there were raids in the last 3 days on Murad Said's house in Swat. Omar Ayub, Akbar Ayub, Uzma Riaz Jatoon, Momina Basit, Ali Jatoon, Taimur Chagda, Atif Khan PTI. So after they're done with Punjab, combing Punjab, they're now trying to terrorize KPK, suppress the voters, suppress the people. That if you don't, some of the MNAs that have openly left the party have not just given up a party, as we say, party cadres or party positions, but have actually left the party. They've been telling us harrowing stories of abuse, of making fake videos of their daughters, of which Mariam Nawaz and her company are experts. So there's different kinds of abuse going on at different levels. There's physical violence, there's sexual assault, and even in prison, they've sort of decided that they were going to treat different people differently. Women from prominent political backgrounds or with families who could ask questions and raise a ruckus, they have avoided abusing them physically. They've abused them in other ways. For example, Senator Falak Nasir Ali, she was put on a bed which was about 6 to 8 inches away from the ceiling fan. So she couldn't dare move because, a ceiling fan can chop you to pieces if your head is close enough. So there's different kinds of abuse. Some people are breaking, others are not. Bravo on those women and men who still stand strong. Shehryar, Alia, all these other people. Now, interestingly, on the issue of the false flag operation and the evidence available, I had a rather long discussion on Twitter. One person put up a picture and saying that his or her blood was boiling because there's a PTI worker supporter desecrating a monument of a fallen comrade or of a soldier. Now I looked at that picture and I realized this was a sort of a dumb operation, instead of a false flag operation, this was a dumb operation happening. There's three men, two of them with crew cuts, one of them wearing a PTI hat and a stupid scarf. There are five policemen standing behind him, one on busy on the mobile, one adjusting his glasses, two adjusting their hats and smiling. There's two army military officers watching this entire scene where the guy has picked up the monument. There's another man, a shadow you can see, telling him to pose, and he's taking his picture. And I got into an argument with the person who had posted this on Twitter that, are you out of your mind? Even if you're peddling the lies that this administration is propping up, do you realize what you've done? You've put up a picture, you've actually captured an operation and then posted it. How stupid does that get? And what I'll do is I'll share that picture with you right now. Please show it on your screen. I've numbered the people who are watching this in place. And this is inside a military installation in Mardan, where nobody can get in without the direct and, how do you say, direct orders as well as influence of the people on the inside. It doesn't work that way. So there is no doubt that all the videos, all the evidence, everything that we are seeing on the one hand is prime example of false flag operation. Another stellar journalist, we call them lifafas in Pakistan. A lifafa simply means somebody who will accept bribes without blinking.
Mhm.
He has given a whole theory and speech on one particular person from the government who is ushering in workers, whether PTI or otherwise, into different sensitive installations, including GHQ, saying that I've been told that he's been arrested. And the whole time that this Lifafa is making this speech, he can't keep his eyes open. One of the biggest giveaways when you lie is that you can't face the people that you talk to. You
Mhm.
start closing your eyes and you start making facial expressions. I'll send you that comedic, moronic interview. So I'm sorry my words are harsh, but they're trying their level best to decimate Khan. And it's not a secret anymore. Starting from anti-terrorism, ludicrous anti-terrorism cases against Khan, to, as you know, the most embarrassing one for this government. I mean, getting a fake cleric to announce that Khan's very married wife is not actually his wife, that he's living in sin with her. I mean, this goes beyond the disgusting. So they've tried everything with Khan. They've tried fake paternity cases, terrorism cases, money laundering cases. They can't come up with anything. So the question is how to silence him. They can either murder him, which they tried a number of times, or they can discredit him. That hasn't worked either. So what do? They take away those that are supporting Khan. And yesterday, you know, the regular Joe, average Joe in Pakistan, who doesn't have money, who doesn't have an education, he does have a lot of common sense. And the word is on the street, whether, and this is a joke as well, whether Khan gives his party ticket to a tree or an electricity pole, the people are going to vote for Khan. And so that is the problem, that these corrupt dynasties are trying to make use of the 9th May events to blacken Khan's name, to darken the days for PTI, abusing, harassing Pakistan, telling them they have no room in public space, all to one end, to make sure that they can eradicate our party. And that's never going to happen. The more you suppress, the more you oppress. They couldn't do away with the Palestinian struggle for the last 75 years of abuse. They couldn't do away with the Kashmiri cause of struggle for the last 75 years, despite horrific abuse. What makes them think that the Pakistani demographic, which 75% of the people are under the age of 30, they can do away with us? By the way, I'm not in that demographic, but the idea is to quell Khan.
You just talked about Shandana, bringing it to a judicial end. So that's where actually I want to take my last question for this week too. The military trials, the military court trials, trying civilians under military courts, including Imran Khan himself. Let's talk about the legal implications of this, international legal implications, because the Human Rights Watch has already stated that this goes against international law. Um, this goes against morality and law. Talk to me about the legal implications of it for Pakistan in the, in a global perspective.
To be honest, Saman, the global perspective is at the moment disappointing and full of weak men, as Khan said about Narendra Modi, small men in big offices. And I see that across the globe. Not a single world leader has condemned the violence against women that is taking place in Pakistan. Everybody's concerned about Afghan women. Everybody's concerned about Iranian women, but we're just a stone's throw from them. It's almost like Pakistani women and Pakistani PTI workers are children of a lesser God. That is embarrassing, frankly, for those countries that pretend to care about human rights, they pretend to care about the due process of law, they pretend to care about human rights, they have made a mockery of themselves. And to what end? If the game is to take Pakistan and Khan away from China, they've wrecked it. There is such huge anti these big Western developed economies, such huge sentiment against them that they're completely silent. Not a single word from any one of the administrations. Yes, the American congressmen, 60 of them, congressmen and congresswomen, wrote to Secretary Blinken and President Biden, and that I thought was admirable. But more needs to be done. The Pakistani diaspora, in particular, needs to hold their parliamentarians to account. They pay for their campaigns, they support them. But if that campaign money is being run to maintain silence on the kind of horrific abuses in Pakistan, including the maintenance of public order, including military trials of civilians, including illegal detention. Alia Hamza told us yesterday, from when she was brought to court, that there were 19 women in prison with her, only 13 of them were brought before the court. Where are the other 6 women? Other women who have been released have told us harrowing tales of women's clothes being torn off in prison. Again, the poor women, the women who don't have rich or famous fathers. So that elitism is being practiced in prison as well to scare the life out of the poor ones, never to come back on the streets again. And I'm afraid that's not going to happen. We are always going to be on the road asking for our rights. We're going to be in parliament. We're going to be everywhere where my constitution allows. Every article of the constitution is being violated as we speak, including international human rights comes second. What about the Pakistani constitution? The Pakistani constitution does not allow trial of civilians and military courts unless there is a clear and present threat of terrorism. Now, it's interesting, my province in Balochistan, since this ridiculously corrupt dynasties have come into power last year, April, my province, which is KP and Balochistan, we've been subject to horrific abuse by terrorists, bomb blast after bomb blast in police stations and mosques. No Pakistani and no Muslim could do that. And yet we're facing that. On top of that, they're going to take people, innocent protesters who have not so much as picked up a stick or a gun. They're being tried. To what end? The constitution doesn't allow it. The Pakistani regular law doesn't allow it. International law doesn't allow it. Again, this is just to send chills down the spine. Says people are saying that this happens General Zia's era, when one has to remind these Gestapo apologists and these Nazi sympathizers, including almost 99% of the NGOs in Pakistan, which are foreign funded, mostly by Western donors, that why aren't they speaking? Why are they silent on these abuses of young men and women in Pakistan, of differently abled people, of the elderly, of children? Young boys from the age of 8 to 18 have been arrested and paraded in court and abused in police stations. So the thing is the following: we are witnessing a large scale hypocrisy. If you recall, at some point in time before the Second World War, there was huge appeasement of Hitler. And you saw what happened to the Jews in Europe at that time. This is the same kind of silence and appeasement that we're seeing from the world. And this appeasement will only come, the chickens will come home to roost. Hillary Clinton had said this once about Pakistan. And let me remind the entire world that supports this corrupt dynasties right now, the corrupt powers that be in Pakistan. She had said that if you grow snakes in your own backyard, eventually they will bite your own children. That's exactly what is being done in Pakistan now. Snakes are being bred to bite Imran Khan, to harm Imran Khan and his party. But I can assure you, this will come back full circle. We Pakistani women are not going to accept this shoddy treatment. We will fight for ourselves. We are strong. We don't need anyone to talk in our behalf. However, the rest of the world that is either orchestrating this in Pakistan or watching this are complicit, the same way you were seen as Gestapo and Nazi sympathizers, whether silent, overt, or covert. The same way, this is how Pakistanis are viewing the world, who are supporting these corrupt dynasties and the corrupt people in charge, those who have power and are subjecting our innocents to abuse of untold proportions, epic proportions.
Thank you so much for your time right now. I loved what you said in the end. Yes, you are right. The Pakistani women right now are the strongest I have ever seen them before. I am proud to call myself a part of this community. I am proud to know you and for you to be a part of this community. Shandana, we will continue our discussion again next week, inshallah. Thank you so much once again for your time.